Our news are tonight. Fubara calls for peace in first address to Rivers residents. Lagos land grabbing sparks fears of homelessness. Inflation devaluation wipe out small naira notes. On the foreign scene, ex-Ivory Coast President Gbagbo refuses to back any candidate. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Mimena Bagudu. Now, Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State has officially returned to office after 6 months of emergency rule. In his first statewide broadcast, the governor called for unity and reconciliation, pledging to rebuild trust and refocus on development. Crowds in Port Harcourt marked his return with celebrations. The report.
Governor Sim Fubara addressed the people of Rivers State on Friday in what many described as a long-awaited moment. It was his first official broadcast since his return to office, following the lifting of the emergency rule imposed in March.
As your governor, I accepted to abide by the state of emergency declaration and choose to cooperate with Mr. President and the National Assembly, guided by my conviction that no sacrifice was too great to secure peace, stability, and progress of Rivers State.
The governor recalled how the state was placed under federal control after months of political crisis and explained why he chose to cooperate with the president and the National Assembly.
This was why I also resisted the pressure to challenge the constitutionality of the declaration of the state of emergency, the suspension of democratic institution, and all other action that we endured during the difficult period.
Governor Fubara said peace has now returned to Rivers State after the president brokered reconciliation between him, former governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, and the Rivers State House of Assembly.
In the course of this 6 months period, Mr. President graciously brokered the peace process with all the parties successfully. Our leader, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, CON, all members of Rivers State House of Assembly, and I, as your governor, have all accepted to bury the hatchet and embrace peace and reconciliation.
Governor Fubara thanked the president for restoring democratic governance and urged political leaders in the state to work together in the interest of the people. Residents in Port Harcourt poured onto the streets in jubilation, describing the governor's return as a sign of stability after months of uncertainty.
And the good people of Rivers State, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. President for his fatherly disposition and decisive intervention in resolving the political crisis and for graciously restoring full democratic governance to our states.
Governor Fubara promised to revive ongoing projects in infrastructure, healthcare, and education while working closely with the Rivers State House of Assembly to speed up development. The governor ended his address by calling on Rivers people to put aside political differences and unite behind peace and progress.
Now, staying with the development in Rivers State, a mammoth crowd of supporters welcomed Governor Sim Fubara, expressing hope for a new chapter of peace and development in the state. Let's take a look at the report.
The Rivers State capital was transformed into a sea of jubilant supporters on Friday. Residents, politicians, and key stakeholders converged on the government house, eagerly awaiting the return of their governor after a prolonged absence. The mood is one of profound relief and celebration, with various groups dressed in their colorful uniforms.
Rivers people feel governance with Sim Fubara, but that was absent for the past 6 months. What I have to say is that the legislative arm of government in Rivers State and the executive arm must work harmoniously together for the development and good governance and well-being of the people.
I can tell you that from the look of things, everybody sees what happened between yesterday and today, that it is massive. Rivers people have spoken. This is the man they voted for, and this is the man they are welcoming back home. You can see that there is nothing has happened in this state for this whole time. From today, Rivers State will begin to work again.
Our expectation is high, high, and high. Why? Projects, granted. Empowerment, granted. Everywhere is hunger in Rivers State. So as the governor has come back, has been reinstated, hey, the governor is not going to sleep till further notice, until all these expectations are met.
The Bible we all practice and believe as Christians has told us that it's time and season for everything. Okay, this is season for happiness, this is season for joy, because democracy has returned back to Rivers State.
He's a man that knows the problem of Rivers people. There will be no story because Rivers people are looking up to him. Well, like I will say, even in a family there will be crisis, and the time will come for resolution. We have settled our problems. So moving forward is that His Excellency, who knows the problem of Rivers people, who has the organic support from Rivers State, who knows that Rivers supports him, and we not hear any other story other than development and empowering of Rivers citizens. We know that as soon as he resumes office today, that he will start the process.
With the emergency rule now lifted, the government and people of Rivers State are looking ahead, hoping to usher in the new era of development and progress they have long been awaiting for.
And now to Lagos State, where the State Police Command said it has restored peace at the Teju-Osho Market Shopping Complex in Yaba after traders protested a prolonged power outage at the facility on Thursday. Demonstrators stormed the popular market, claiming that the power outage was crippling their businesses. Now, according to eyewitnesses, the demonstration, which began peacefully, turned chaotic when police officers allegedly deployed tear gas to disperse the crowd. But in a statement on Friday, the command's Deputy Police Public Relations Officer Babasheyi Olusheyi said 18 suspects had been arrested. According to Olusheyi, the officers of the police mobile force repelled the attacks and firmly protected the bank from invasion by the hoodlums and miscreants and exercised a high level of restraint in their actions. He stated that the command received a distress call that hoodlums and miscreants had started attacking people, damaging goods and properties in Teju-Osho Market. Now, the fear of being rendered homeless overnight is becoming a grim reality for many Lagosians as land grabbing and unauthorized demolitions continue across the state. From Owode Onirin to Oworo Shoki, the wave of land disputes and violent evictions is leaving destructions in its wake and in some cases costing lives. Let's take a look at the report.
Speaking with Trust TV, Tunde Okwonla, a homeowner, emphasized the emotional and financial toll of building a house in today's economy, describing it as a hard-earned achievement.
To build a house now is not easy. To me, I thank God that I build a house when the country is in order. But you cannot, even when the country is under, you cannot come to my house now and say, you want to demolish it. If you demolish my house now, you demolish my life. Because I'm retiring now, and I'm based on that house, collecting money from that house. So next thing that will say nothing for me again. I can even post myself and go because there's nothing for me to rely on it. Because my property has been demolished. Who am I in the state, in the country? I'm nothing.
For Muyiwa Orenuga, property owners have a natural and legal claim over their homes, and that any attempt to reclaim land or demolish houses for public projects must come with adequate notice and compensation.
The government is supposed to even inform people that, okay, this thing is going to happen, unlike we're giving them notice. And upon giving them notice, they're supposed to give them maybe something to tangible to what we don't like looking at the house and estimate it and look out the cost as at that time, so that they can pay before demolishing the house. Because many people have been made homeless without having that other means of maybe living, or like where to stay.
Another concerned resident, speaking off camera, said many of them bought their land 25 to 30 years ago with valid documents.
Whereby someone have bought for the past 25, 30 years ago. You people that have not bought then, when the owner of the land bought it, you now come in, reinforce in order to demolish their house. Where did they want them to start? Which is not good. Even though some people, there are some people that have a C-of-O, whatever, what are we calling it? C-of-O. They will tell you, if you don't have C-of-O, you have anything to collect from the government. It's a lie. Where are they? Past 30 years, when the owner of the land bought it, they are nobody then. And somebody that have built the house for the past 30 years, and before he built the house, maybe is around 30 years old. Then, plus 30 years. What they want that kind of person to do? After, there must be compensation.
CHCR President, Comrade Alex Omotendi, decried the forceful eviction and destruction of the markets without adequate notice or humanitarian consideration.
These were not criminals. They were innocent Nigerians striving to earn an honest living. And they woke up that regrettable morning to go to their shops, but never returned home, as their blood now crying for justice. And now, who will feed their children? Who will wipe the tears of their widows? Who will carry the burden of their aged parents? All these are questions begging for an answer.
Where
do I even start? I want to send his child to school, but I'm struggling to work properly. He promised to open a shop for me, but the house he rented is still empty because the landlord is demanding he vacates. I'm heartbroken and wondering how we'll move forward. Which son can replace him? I won't see him again. I suffered to give birth to him, and now he's supposed to take care of me. He's gone. It's unbearable to lose a child. The pain will stay with me forever.
For many affected residents, this is more than just a land dispute, it's a fight for survival.
Now, the worsening effect of soil erosion threatening the Nabako community in Katsina local government area of Katsina State has prompted women in the area to take action. And this rainy season, they organized themselves to plant trees in a bid to save their community from erosion that threatens their very existence. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
Soil erosion is one of the major environmental challenges in northern Katsina, displacing families and destroying farmlands. In Dannabasu, the only village under Katsina local government, erosion has already consumed the community's market and continues to threaten homes. The village, with more than 2,000 inhabitants, has grappled with the problem for decades. Now, women groups have launched a tree planting campaign with every woman in the community participating.
As you can see here now, all the houses have been demolished by this erosion. So we are doing our effort. We are calling government to come and help our town.
Dannabasu is the only village under Katsina local government. Yet, we have been crying for help for so long with no response. Many of us have lost houses, shops, and farmlands to erosion. When we were young, planting trees was like a hobby. We planted trees in schools, on farms, and even on the streets. But today, many households in this village have been displaced by erosion. As part of broader efforts to tackle the menace, women were trained on the use of local stoves that require fewer firewood. They were also trained and engaged in raising economic trees to support a massive planting campaign within the village and surrounding farmlands. The women are now encouraged to plant trees such as locust bean, moringa, purple, olive, tamarind, lime, lemon, cashew, cassia, and baobab, among others.
The training we received will go a long way in improving our environment. We've learned how to make clay stoves that use less firewood and also how to raise and plant economic trees. We appreciate those who supported us, but beyond the training, what we need most is empowerment. That will ensure the success of this exercise.
Historical records show that the late Emir of Katsina, Muhammadu Kabir Usman, once led a massive tree planting exercise in Dannabasu about 4 decades ago. Residents are now calling on the government to construct drainages that will channel water properly, saying such infrastructure will finally put an end to the erosion threatening their survival. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, chairmen of 7 local government areas in Kwara South Senatorial District have ordered the immediate closure of all cattle markets within the district. The council chairman said the development was sequel to the prevailing security realities in the district. The local government affected are Ifelodun, Isin, Irekbodun, Ekiti, Okeoro, Ofa and Oyun. In a joint statement signed by the council chairman, they described the decision as painful but necessary. They said the decision was arrived at after an extensive stakeholders engagement and reviews, while acknowledging and regretting the economic impact of the decision on the people. The chairman said they have chosen to prioritize the safety of lives and properties and adhering to long-term coordinated and structured security advice over and above short-term inconveniences. Reacting, the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria on Friday appealed to the Kwara government to urgently intervene in the closure of cattle markets in 7 local government areas in the state. The appeal followed the closure of cattle markets due to insecurity by the 7 local government chairmen in the Kwara South Senatorial District of the state. Now, tenants in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, are raising concerns over the random hike in house rents. Most landlords have not only increased rental prices, but are now insisting on 2-year upfront payments as part of new tenancy agreements. Our correspondent in Benue state reports that this development is generating tension among tenants, many of whom are calling on relevant property authorities and the government to intervene and regulate housing costs. The report.
Housing is a fundamental human need, providing not just shelter, but also security and dignity. From apartment buildings to single units, access to affordable housing is vital for every citizen. However, in Makurdi and across parts of Benue State, the cost of renting homes has skyrocketed, placing a heavy burden on tenants, especially low-income earners. In recent years, rent prices have risen drastically. The situation has been worsened by the country's current economic challenges, notably the removal of fuel subsidy, which has had a ripple effect on all sectors, including real estate. Chief Simon Ugondu, a traditional ruler, and innocent Peggy tenant, both blame the rising cost of rent on the economic downturn, lamenting the government's failure to enforce laws that regulate rent prices. Anna Lumkwa, a roadside seller and tenant in Makurdi, describes the experience of coping with rising rent as painful and frustrating. They are urging authorities to step in and ensure fair and affordable housing for the average citizen.
Particularly in Ruku, where I reside, I also heard about the outcry. Because of the high economy, I don't know, is it because of farmers and others crisis that people from rural areas are migrating to the urban settlement, that the increase of rent has been increased. Taking that direction as well. To the house owners, seriously, I will advise that they should wear human face because the economy is not favorable to a common Nigerian. Now, people may say that yes, government has increased minimum wage. Because of that, we can increase it. Ask yourself, how much is the minimum wage? 70,000. Use the 70,000 and go to the market. What and what can you buy that will sustain you for 1 week? It will not. So the money is nothing. It's nothing. And then you can see that because of this minimum wage now, the traders also have taken advantage of saying that the workers have received much money. There's high in price of the activity in the town.
Donald Bu, a landlord in Makinde, appeals to the government to tackle the rising cost of building materials, which he says is a key driver of increased rent.
The issue of how they cost of rent in Makinde because of building material. They are so high. Cement is costly, zinc is costly, everything is costly. So when a person wants to build a house, he would like to recover his money. You understand? That is what is happening. If you talk to them, they will not listen. They say, look at how much are they selling this, how much are they selling this. So that is the cost.
Terence Aki, a local estate agent, highlights additional challenges such as agency fees, which often increase the financial burden on tenants beyond just the rent itself.
When the economy is bad, or when there's so much need of money, you probably want to get the best out of what you have to settle your own issues. I.e., you have a problem of 200,000 naira. You want to use the house, or if the house is your source of income, as it has become.
Now, Nigerian Army General Court Martial sitting at Maxwell Kobe Cantonment, Jos, has sentenced Lukman Musa to death by hanging for the murder of a tricycle rider, Abdurrahman Isa, in Azare town of Azare local government area of Bauchi State. The judgment was delivered on Thursday by Brigadier General Laifis Bello, President of the 3 Division Nigerian Army General Court Martial, after the court found Musa guilty of culpable homicide and unlawful possession of ammunition. Ado Musa completes the report.
The court says the culprit, Private Lukman Musa, in connivance with an accomplice identified as Oba, lured the victim into his residence under the guise of helping him move his personal belongings. According to the president of the court, evidence presented during the trial revealed that Musa struck the victim on the head with a wooden object before strangling him to death, and his body was later stuffed into a sack and dumped between Shira and Yala villages, while his tricycle was stolen and sold.
This General Marshal hereby sentenced you 17 NA of the 76 of the 5579 Private Lukman Musa as follows. For count 1, on culpable homicide, contrary to section 220 sub A and punishable under section 221 of the Penal Code, cap P89, triable by virtue of section 114 of the Armed Forces Act, you are hereby sentenced to death by hanging. May the Lord have mercy on your soul.
According to the Deputy Director of Legal Services, 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major Aminu Merua, said the ruling demonstrates the Army's commitment to discipline, regimentation, and the administration of justice.
Witness in the General Court Martial is a clear manifestation of the Nigerian Army's unwavering commitment to ensuring discipline, regimentation, and ensuring that personnel acts within the confines of rules and regulations, especially when it comes to the issue of administration of criminal justice. This code was convened by the General Officer Commanding of 3 Division Nigerian Army, Major General E.F. Oyinlola.
Anas Isa, elder brother of the victim, expressed satisfaction over the outcome, believing that justice has been served for the deceased.
All his own team that have been done this kind of justice to us, because we are happy with this, with the thing that they have done to us. Thank you, thank you.
The court official said the judgment will serve as a warning to others, stressing that they will continue to ensure justice is served to all and sundry. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Due to prolonged inflation and the continuous devaluation of the naira, lower denominations of the Nigerian currency, especially coins and smaller notes, now have very little purchasing power. To this end, Nigerians hardly use these smaller denominations, particularly coins, for everyday transactions in most markets across the country, making me question why government still spends money producing them. The report.
Although 1 and 2 naira coins, as well as the 50 kobo, remain official legal tender recognized by the Central Bank of Nigeria, these denominations have become scarce due to inflation and hoarding. This scarcity poses challenges for petty traders and those engaged in small-scale transactions.
5
naira is disappearing. Talkless of coins, even children nowadays don't know coins. People reject coins because of their heaviness.
As far as legal constitution, coin is still a legal tender in the market, and the reason why I think this is slowly and gradually disappearing is that there is no value exchanger of that coin. Let's take an example. Why people refuse to accept those coins in the bank is a lot of customers, if they come, okay, assuming they want to withdraw 2,000 naira, then you bring 50 naira of 1 naira coin and attach it to their 2,000 naira. They will not accept it, and you will not blame them. You ask why, they will tell you there is no value for 1 naira or 2 naira or 3 naira, even 5 naira now.
While coins and smaller notes are fast disappearing from circulation, Abubakar displays them as historic artifacts. I keep them here to showcase, especially for small children. Many people come here to see the coins and small denominations. Experts say the limited circulation of small notes and coins is largely the result of their diminished value.
For even because of inflation, inflation eroded the value of coins to a point that your coins cannot buy you any item, even if it's sweet in the market. Yes. So there's no point carrying it, because you cannot carry something that will not serve your purpose. You cannot carry something or accept it or use it for anything when you know that it cannot be used for settlement, it cannot be used for payment, it cannot be used for anything other than official transaction in payment. Official payment.
They add that weak economic fundamentals, including heavy reliance on oil export, high import dependence, and corruption, have contributed to persistent currency instability.
And what I think, if we need this coin to work as other countries, like when you go to Europe, Asia, even Arab countries, they are still using their coin, their cents, their kobos, they all use it. Why? Because they are in the economy of production, while we are in the economy of consumer.
The lowest denominations that are still used in circulation for daily transactions today are 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, and 50 naira notes, which are now printed on a durable polymer substrate. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The Tinubu government says it has shared 330 billion naira with over 8 million households each, getting 25,000 naira under its social safety net program. But for many Nigerians, the question is, will this money change lives, or is it another handout in a country where poverty keeps rising? Abdullahi Ahmed explains.
The Tinubu administration says it has disbursed 330 billion naira to 8.1 million households under the National Social Safety Net program. Each family gets 25,000 naira. In total, the program aims to cover nearly 20 million households and around 70 million Nigerians. The government calls this relief, but history tells a different story. From Shopee under Jonathan to trader money and market money under Buhari, billions have been spent with little to show for it. Add that, the Better Edu scandal, and you see a pattern. Handouts that fail to shift Nigeria's poverty map. And the map is damning. Today, over 133 million Nigerians live in multidimensional poverty. That's more than half Nigeria's population. The North bears the heaviest burden, with Sokoto State at 90.5% poverty rate, Gombe at 86.2%, Jigawa with 84.3%, Yobe with 83.5%, and Kebbi at 82.2% poverty rate, topping the list. Even in states like Borno, Katsina, and Kaduna, more than 70% of residents are poor, while Lagos, Ondo, and Abia record just a little under 30%. Rural areas are the worst hit, and food inflation now hovers around 30%, making survival even harder. So, what does 25,000 naira actually buy for these households? Well, less than half a bag, at least, of rice, some oil, and a few essentials. Enough to keep the household afloat, maybe for a couple of weeks, not to change their future. Yet, the APC manifesto promised to lift millions out of poverty. The question is, can one-off transfers do that? Or is this just another cycle of short-term fixes? The experts say the answer lies in structural action, jobs in agriculture and manufacturing, real support for small businesses, public spending on transport, housing, education, and healthcare, using subsidy savings for long-term growth, not quick stipends. Countries like Brazil, for instance, with its Bolsa Familia, tied to cash transfers to school attendance and health checks, creating lasting change across the country. India used biometric IDs to block corruption and invest in rural jobs. In Kenya, the country has combined transfers with community development. The difference is quite clear. Cash works when it is part of a wider strategic social protection plan, not when it stands alone. Nigeria's approach still looks like relief and not reform. So, while 330 billion naira may ease hunger today, it does little to break the poverty trap tomorrow. For an administration that pledged to pull millions out of poverty, Nigerians are right to ask this question. Is this the way forward, or just another handout in a country where poverty continues to spread?
This is News Hour on Trust TV, coming up after the break. Gunmen invade NUJ Secretariat, shoot policeman in UB. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories once again. Fubara calls for peace in first address to Rivers residents. And Lagos land grabbing sparks fears of homelessness. Now moving on to more stories. The Development Research and Project Center, through its Nigeria Strengthening Civic Advocacy and Local Engagement Project, has partnered with the Rising Hope Girls Education Foundation to establish a digital laboratory at Junior Secondary School Biajin in Kubwa, Abuja. The facility will give underserved students access to technology, creativity, creativity, and digital safety skills. Habibat Ajayi reports.
Through DRPC's support initiative, 5 million naira was provided for short-term projects to be completed within 3 months, funded by Ford Foundation. As part of the scheme, which aims to strengthen civil society organizations, 20 female students also received scholarships covering junior secondary school 1 to 3.
The essence is to bridge the gap of funding. When the foreign funding are drying up, it's the responsibility of local Nigerian NGOs, philanthropists, and other citizens to support communities, vulnerable communities that are doing great work.
Project Director of the Rising Hope Girls Education Foundation, David Hano, says the initiative targets long-standing barriers to digital learning, such as limited access to tools, under-resourced teachers, and the need for artificial intelligence literacy.
It's a timeless scholarship. We have given 100 girls across the regions. Kubwa, Biaji, Jiwa, we scattered it across. Those who are indigent and who are intelligent and have problems, it's part of the safe school. Because if they don't have this, it gives them tension.
The FCT Police Command says it has recorded major breakthroughs in its fight against crime, rescuing kidnapped victims and recovering weapons and stolen vehicles. Commissioner of Police Ajao Adewale told journalists that a notorious bandit leader, Abdullahi Umar, also known as Duna, was killed alongside 2 of his men during a gun battle in Zinda Forest. The gang had earlier attacked communities in Guzape and abducted an FCT staff in Karo. In separate operations, police dismantled a robbery syndicate, arrested 11 drug dealers and seized bags of cannabis. 18 stolen vehicles, firearms and ammunition were also recovered.
For the past 8 months, we want to reap where they did not sow. We need synergy, cooperation, vigilance, and intelligence sharing. This is the only way to keep everybody safe. We have always asked you, police is your friend, and your security remain our priority. The more you collaborate with us, the more we'll be successful in the fight against crime and criminality. We've escalated our community engagement. Within this period, we've had our meeting with the League of Imam, Christian Association of Nigeria, HLR Group. Effort is ongoing to engage youth from various communities. We have a group that's currently partnering with us, and that is a team called You Against Crime International.
Now, Flow with Pride Impact Hub and We Support Her teamed up on September 19 to train young girls on menstrual health and self-care issues often treated as taboo. Tante Azel reports on how knowledge is changing lives.
Teaching girls about menstrual hygiene is central to their health and confidence. It means giving them correct information, support, and access to what they need to manage their periods with dignity. Nurse Jane Agabi led students through the basics of the menstrual cycle. They also learned from Dr. Mary Ann Ogbena Chioma, who explained polycystic ovary syndrome, its warning signs, and the risks of ignoring it.
It's a natural phenomenon, something that happens naturally to every lady, normal lady. And so it is important that they know what they need to do during this period, because it also concerns hygiene. It's important for them to know how to take care of themselves, and that if they see, some situations like heavy bleeding, they have menstrual cramps, they, have, maybe extended bleeding days, they shouldn't get worried. That is part of the life. And then if a situation is overwhelming, it is important for them to see a gynecologist.
So we educated them on healthy eating, regular exercise, speaking to health practitioners, speaking to nurses, and also confiding in their parents if they're not able to speak to nurses.
Beyond the medical side, Toyin Bashir, founder of We Support Her initiative, spoke on period poverty. She shared the struggles many girls face when they can't afford sanitary pads and suggested ways to bridge that gap.
In addressing period poverty, the menstrual health policy is a very good idea. And we believe that if government implements it, it will translate into sanitary products being cheaper and more available, and also address other issues around period poverty.
Michael Chinemeke, co-founder of Flow with Pride Impact Hub, stressed that men must also be part of these conversations, saying change will only come when boys and men understand women's health issues.
Fathers, young boys, when they look at me, they will know that it's very important that we get involved so that, we would help make our young girls, our daughters and our friends feel safe.
Teachers like Bumi Lesomi, the lessons go beyond science, she says. Breaking the silence in schools help students open up and share their stories.
Personal hygiene is very important, especially in the aspect of menstrual cycle. So today, our girls, I've seen them asking various questions, which I'm so impressed. They need to know more about their menstruation, how it flows, how to take care of their menstrual cycle when it comes.
While the students themselves shared their personal experiences.
Honestly, I want to say it has been easy, especially with cramps and everything. I've never really had a problem with my menstruation, but when it started newly, it alternates within months. My flow is actually normal. Some basis is very normal, like for three to 4 days. But on once in a while, some few occasions, I only have it for 1 day.
This effort is not just about health. It's about breaking stigma and giving girls the tools to grow with confidence. Tante Aza, Trust TV News.
And now to Oyo State, where the State Road Traffic Management Authority, in partnership with security agencies, has arrested 8 individuals impersonating traffic officers and extorting motorists within the Ibadan Metro Police. The arrest came during a routine operation targeting those posing as legitimate officials to deceive and exploit drivers on the roads. The report.
Speaking with newsmen, the executive chairman of Oyo Road Traffic Management Agency, Major Adeshagba Adekoya, disclosed that the impersonators have caused significant disruption, misleading innocent motorists and creating chaos. He further revealed that during the operation, authorities recovered 95 vehicle number plates, several batteries, and counterfeit traffic tickets valued between 85,000 and 90,000 naira. The chairman stressed that the authority follows a strict judicial process when issuing fines, adding that the agency does not arbitrarily penalize road users.
The manager led a team to bust the activities of these people at Egbede local government and Lagelu local government. Today, we're able to recover about 95 number plates already taken or pulled by these persons, about 150 amps battery and other batteries of 75 amps. We equally discovered their tickets ranging from 85,000, 90,000 above that have been extorted from people.
He urged motorists to always verify the identity of traffic officers by asking for authorized ID cards. The authority assured the public that it will continue to collaborate with security agencies to clamp down on illegal activities by impersonators and maintain safety on the roads.
That we have apprehended over time, we don't just give them tickets to pay. We have process. We have judicial process. We have tribunal here domicile within us. In Oitman, they have to go through judicial process for fair hearing. But these guys, they just go around, apprehend innocent citizens in the guise of being Oitman or working for a local government, how else will you have a ticket of 80, 100 and 150,000 naira for offender?
He enjoined motorists to remain vigilant and report any suspicious persons claiming to be Oyo Road Traffic Management Authority officers through official channels.
11 African nationals deported from the United States have filed a lawsuit against the government of Ghana challenging their detention in a military facility after their arrival in Accra. Their lawyer, Oliver Baka Vomawo, said the deportees had not violated any Ghanaian law, making their continued detention unlawful. Court documents state that the individuals were first detained in a U.S. facility before being shackled and transported abroad in a military cargo aircraft to Ghana. Upon arrival, they were placed in custody at a military camp where they remain, according to the filing. The Ghanaian government has not yet responded to the lawsuit. However, officials previously confirmed plans to receive an additional 40 deportees under an agreement with the United States. President John Mahama had announced last week that 14 West Africans were returned to Ghana under the deal and subsequently sent back to their respective countries of origin. In addition to the Ghanaian suit, 5 of the deportees, 3 Nigerians and 2 Gambians, have also filed a case against the U.S. government, claiming they were protected by a court order and should not have been deported. Now, in a brazen pre-dawn attack on Friday, unidentified gunmen earlier Friday morning launched attack at the Council Secretariat of the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) in Damaturu, Yobe State capital, leaving 1 police officer seriously injured. The attack raises concerns about the safety of media professionals in Nigeria's northeast region. The incident occurred around 2 a.m. on September 19, 2025, when armed attackers targeted the NUJ Secretariat building. The gunmen shot the police officer stationed to guard the premises, targeting his leg. Now, according to initial reports, the injured officer was promptly rushed to the emergency unit of the police hospital in Damaturu, where he is currently receiving treatment. Chairman of the NUJ Yobe Council, Rajab Ismail Mohammed, described the incident as both unfortunate and scary for journalists operating in the state. He emphasized the psychological impact on media professionals who already work in challenging environments. Now, a fresh outbreak of cholera in Bauchi State has claimed 58 lives and infected at least 258 people. This is according to official reports from the state government. The outbreak has so far affected 14 local government areas of the state, raising concerns within the government about the rapid spread of the disease. In response to the growing crisis, the Bauchi State government has inaugurated the Cholera Steering Committee, chaired by the Deputy Governor, Awal Jatau, alongside a technical working group headed by the Commissioner for Health, Sani Dambam. Speaking during the inauguration ceremony, Jatau emphasized the urgent need for coordinated action. Jatau tasked members of the committees with leading efforts to save lives and prevent further spread of the disease. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We move straight to business. Nigeria's manufacturing sector has plunged deeper into crisis as imports of manufactured goods outpacked exports by over 14 trillion naira in the first half of 2025. Fresh data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows the country's growing reliance on foreign products despite years of industrial policy efforts. According to the NBS, manufactured imports between January and June were valued at 15.39 trillion naira, while exports during the same period amounted to just 1.09 trillion naira, creating a trade for Nigeria to make more goods. In only 6 months, although exports rebounded in the second quarter, rising to 803.8 billion naira, up 173% from the first quarter. Industry players warn the growth is still too weak to offset the surge in imports. The Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Segun Ajayi Kadiri, described the figures as troubling, saying they confirm domestic manufacturing is still struggling and needs stronger government support. Similarly, the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gabriel Idahosa, said the deficit reflects the collapse of local production capacity, blaming low raw material supply, high energy costs, and weak infrastructure for forcing manufacturers to rely on expensive imports. Analysts warn the widening deficit is draining foreign exchange, weakening the naira, and eroding the manufacturing sector's role in driving economic growth, with stakeholders urging government to fix structural bottlenecks, improve competitiveness, and boost local input production. Now, away from Nigeria, former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo has stated that he will not endorse any candidate in the forthcoming presidential election, despite being declared ineligible to run in the upcoming election. Gbagbo has announced that he will not support any of the candidates approved by the Constitutional Council. His party's spokesperson Habiba Toure stated that a lack of consensus and legitimacy among the candidates prevented any endorsement. Toure emphasized that the candidates put forward by the Constitutional Council do not represent the larger political parties in the country. Among the top contenders in the county's top seat are Simone Gbagbo, the former wife of Laurent Gbagbo. Gbagbo, who has consistently opposed the current president Alassane Ouattara's bid for a fourth term, calls this situation a violation of constitutional law. The fundamental Ivorian law limits presidents to 2 terms, but the council argues that a new constitution adopted in 2016 reset the term counter. For sports updates, let's join Adeni Ajishafe.
A moment of heartbreak and history for Nigerian Ezekiel Nathaniel at the World Athletics Champions near podium finishes Nigeria's best performance in the men's 400-meter hurdles at the World Championships, and the closest the nation has come to a medal in track events since Francis Obikwelu's silver in the men's 200-meter at Seville in 1999. And in basketball, Nigerian senior men's basketball team D Tigers have dropped 11 places in the latest FIBA World Rankings, falling to 53rd globally in the standings. The slip follows their underwhelming performance at the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket, where they crashed out in the quarterfinals after a 91-75 defeat to Senegal, extending their wait for a second continental title. Previously ranked for the second in the world and 6th in Africa in March, Nigeria now sit 8th on the continent behind South Sudan, Angola, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Senegal, Cape Verde, and Tunisia. With points tally, Nigerians stand at 248.7, down from 297.8 points earlier had in 2025. At the top of the global rankings, the United States of America maintain 4th place, while Germany, fresh off their FIBA Eurobasket 2025 triumph, climbed to 2nd, defrogging Serbia, who dropped to 3rd. France held steady in 4th, with Canada rounding out the top 5. Nigeria were among the biggest fallers alongside Morocco, Tunisia, the Virgin Islands, and Kosovo, while Mali, South Africa, Turkey, Cyprus, and Jamaica recorded significant climbs. Their last appearance on the global stage came in 2019 under former coach Alex Nwora. The Tigers will look to bounce back later this year when they face Tunisia, Guinea, and Rwanda in the 4th round of the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2027 African qualifiers in November. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
With that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us on all of our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream to stay informed. Have a great weekend and good night.